Archangel Michael says, "My precious child, do not look away now, because the final moments of this message carry something meant just for you. The last half-minute holds a gift that could transform your heart and your life forever. Stay with me until the very end, for within those closing seconds, the blessings of heaven are waiting to be placed into your hands. The time has come for a blessing so great, it cannot be measured in gold or silver, nor weighed by the scales of man, for it is sent from heaven and covered in the light of divine promise. Though the words may first speak of money, what truly flows through this message is far more valuable. It is the outpouring of God's love, grace, and His desire to see His children whole, filled, and overflowing with every good thing. In the quiet moments when your heart has whispered prayers in the darkness, when your eyes have searched the skies for answers, when you've walked the valley of pain with trembling faith, God was listening, watching, waiting. He has not turned His face from you, not once, not even when you thought He had. Every tear you cried in secret was collected, every groan of the soul was heard, and every weary sigh found its way into the hands of the One who never sleeps, who never grows tired of loving you. Type 999 if you trust Jesus with all your heart. God sees the weight you've carried, the loneliness you felt behind closed doors, the endless battles that no one else knew you were fighting, and yet you kept going. You didn't quit. You didn't give up. Even when your strength was almost gone, something deep within you, something sacred and unbreakable, kept your feet moving forward. That something was the breath of Christ living inside you, holding your broken pieces together, whispering, "I am still with you." This message is not simply a promise of a blessing, but a sacred invitation to receive what has already been prepared for you in the secret places of heaven. It is not about a number, or a sum of money, though heaven has the power to provide for every single need. It is about the glory of God being revealed in your life in such a way that even the sorrow of yesterday cannot survive in the beauty of what's coming. It is about redemption. It is about restoration. It is about being seen, and loved, and chosen, not because of perfection, but because God delights in mercy. Like this video and subscribe to this channel if God's grace has saved you. There are moments when we feel forgotten, like our prayers rise into the sky and vanish into the clouds, but the truth is, nothing spoken in faith is ever lost. Everything you have prayed for in sincerity, everything you have hoped for in desperation, every time you believed even when it hurt, God held it, honored it, and wove it into a plan that far exceeds what you've asked. His ways are not like ours. He doesn't rush, and He doesn't delay without reason. When the time is right, heaven moves. And the time is now. Not by your might, not by your striving, not by the works of your hands, but by His Spirit, the winds of blessing are changing direction and blowing toward you. This isn't just about provision. This is about healing. This is about restoration. This is about relationships made whole, dreams being reborn, and strength being given to those who thought they had nothing left to give. What if you discovered a tiny, walnut-sized brain region holds the secret to endless wealth and success? Recently uncovered by groundbreaking research and once buried in classified files, this frequency is now available to anyone ready to listen. Imagine replacing worry and struggle with a life of financial ease and freedom. Interested? Click the link in video description and comments below to unleash this hidden brain wave and start attracting wealth right now. You have been guided to this message for a reason, and if you turn away, the chance may not return. This is your time to step in. Archangel Michael stands with you now, not to frighten, not to condemn, but to remind you that you are not alone in this life, not forgotten in the crowd of millions, not unseen by the eyes that crafted the stars. You are deeply known. You are intentionally chosen. And there is a mighty movement of grace coming your way. You may not understand how it will come, or why now after all this time, but it is not your job to understand the timing of heaven, it is your place to believe. You were never meant to carry your burden alone. You were never created to strive without rest. God longs to lift you up, to place you on firm ground, to remind you that your name is written in His hands, not in pencil but carved with love that cannot be erased. Type 1111 if you agree. There are blessings meant for you that no one else can take. There are doors that have been closed until now, not because God was punishing you, but because He was preparing something so beautiful, so holy, that it needed the right moment to be revealed. There are answers coming. There is peace rising. There is a newness breaking open in places that felt dead for years. And while the world may mock or dismiss this message, those with ears of faith will feel the stirring in their spirit. Something is shifting. Something is near. Not because of anything you have earned, but because God's love is relentless. He does not bless to reward perfection. He blesses because that is His nature, and He is looking for the heart that still believes, even with trembling hands. So do not turn away. Do not rush past this moment. Let your heart soften. Let the walls come down. Let God in. Let His love undo the lies you've carried for far too long. Let His peace hush the storm inside you. The blessing that's coming is more than money. It is the joy of knowing you are remembered. It is the miracle of hope being restored. It is the wonder of being held by God when the world lets go. Archangel Michael says, the blessing that is drawing near is not only rich in heaven's glory, but filled with the healing touch of God's hand, reaching into the deepest places of your heart where silence has lived for far too long. This journey is not just about receiving something from above, it's about being changed, completely and forever, by the love that has never stopped pursuing you. There were moments in your life when the weight you carried felt unbearable, when you laid awake at night wondering if the struggle would ever end, when you looked around and saw others moving forward while you were stuck in the same painful place. In those moments, you may have felt forgotten, like your life had no direction, like your prayers bounced back in silence. But God was there, closer than the air in your lungs, holding you gently in His presence, even when you didn't feel Him. Sometimes healing doesn't come like a sudden sunrise. Sometimes it comes in quiet, faithful steps, like a soft whisper saying, "Keep going." That whisper was God. That whisper was the voice of Jesus, reminding you that He walks with you through every shadow, every valley, every silence that ever tried to break you. You are still here. And that alone is proof that God has not finished His story in you. What you see today may not yet look like the promise, but heaven sees your future already unfolding. There is a field being planted within you, seeds of joy, seeds of provision, seeds of breakthrough that will bloom in God's perfect time. The world may measure success by numbers and wealth, but heaven measures the courage it takes to believe when nothing makes sense, and your courage has not gone unnoticed. This blessing that is coming, it is soaked in love. It is wrapped in the prayers of generations before you. It is carried by angels who have watched over you since the moment you drew your first breath. God knows the desires of your heart, even the ones you've never spoken aloud. He knows the battles you never told anyone about. And He is not late. What is meant for you cannot be taken by another. What has been written for your life is still alive. Type Amen if you believe. The money mentioned in this message is only a symbol of something deeper, something more eternal. It represents freedom from fear, freedom from shame, freedom from the belief that you are not worthy of good things. But beyond the physical, God wants to give you the kind of peace that doesn't end when the world grows loud. He wants to heal the parts of you that are tired of pretending, tired of smiling when your soul is aching. What if I told you financial freedom is not about working harder, but activating a dormant brain signal designed to draw abundance directly to you? Neuroscience proves this sound wave unlocks prosperity faster than any method known before. From unexpected cash to life-changing success, it's already helping thousands. Imagine looking back tomorrow wishing you had acted today. Do not let regret replace the miracle that is calling you right now. Click the link in the video description and comments below to turn on the ancient money wave and create the life you've always dreamed of today. Archangel Michael stands with a shield of light, guarding your steps as you walk forward into the unknown. He carries no threat, no warning of punishment for skipping over truth, only a loving plea to pause and receive what heaven is trying to give you. Not because you're perfect, not because you've done everything right, but because grace is not earned. It is given freely, to all who will open their hands and say, I trust you, Lord, even now. Let your faith breathe again. Let your hope stretch. Let your spirit open wide to the beauty of being known by God. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to clean yourself up first. You don't have to pretend to be strong. God doesn't need you to be impressive, He just wants you to be present. There is healing for the wounds you've carried. There is light for the places in you that have lived in shadows. There is laughter returning to your voice, and music returning to your spirit. You were never abandoned. You were never overlooked. You are, and always have been, held together by the hands of a Savior who would rather die than live without you. This next season of your life will not look like the pain you walked through. It will not echo the rejection, the betrayal, or the loss. It will carry the scent of redemption, the warmth of restoration, and the unmistakable light of God's mercy. Everything you thought was too far gone, your dreams, your joy, your peace, is being returned to you, not as it was, but better, stronger, and overflowing with life. Archangel Michael says, what is being prepared for you in this sacred moment is not just a reward for holding on, it is a revelation of how deeply and endlessly you are loved by the one who shaped the heavens and called you His own. This is not just a season of answered prayers, it is a divine turning of the page in your story, where everything that once felt like loss will soon bloom into something holy, something beautiful, something entirely made new. There are seasons in life where everything feels quiet and cold, where even the simplest joys feel distant, and the soul grows tired from waiting. You may have walked through such seasons, where each step felt like a question and each day asked more of you than you had to give. But through it all, the Spirit of God never left you. He stayed close, whispering strength into your spirit, reminding your heart that hope is never wasted, and that your faith is building a foundation for miracles that have already begun to take shape. Even when your hands were empty, your heart was still full of a faith that refused to die. That is what heaven honors. Not perfection. Not performance. But the quiet, unseen decision to keep trusting God when the world gave you every reason to stop. You have chosen faith, again and again. And now, heaven is choosing to show you how much that matters. Type 1818 to claim miracles. The blessing spoken of is not only one of provision but of holy restoration. Yes, God is more than able to bring forth abundance in ways that defy logic, because His storehouses are never empty. But what matters more is how He plans to heal the unseen places in your soul, the places that ache, the places that have forgotten how to dream. The money, the provision, the opportunity, it is all part of the miracle. But the true gift is the transformation of your life into something radiant with His love. You are not here by accident. These words are not reaching you by coincidence. There is divine purpose in every sentence, every stirring in your heart, every tear that may fall as you read these words. This is God's way of saying, I remember you. I still have plans for you. And I am closer now than you've ever felt me. Sometimes, the enemy tries to convince us that we are forgotten. That our prayers have vanished. That nothing will change. But he is a liar, and his voice holds no truth. The truth is found in Jesus, who never left your side, who walked through the fire with you, who stood in the silence, who caught every tear, and who now stands ready to lift you out of the shadows and into the light of a brand new beginning. Archangel Michael stands in the spiritual realm not to frighten but to guide, not to threaten but to awaken you to the reality of what's unfolding. This isn't a message to scare you, it is a message to stir your soul. Time is precious, and heaven is moving. What comes next requires you to listen, to believe, and to open your heart wider than ever before. The clock may say 11:11, but heaven says this is your appointed hour. It is not too late. You have not missed it. There is still time to receive the love, the provision, and the healing that God has prepared just for you. The angels rejoice when a soul chooses faith over fear, and in this moment, as you receive these words, you are choosing life, light, and the path of Christ. Do not carry yesterday's shame any longer. Do not carry the weight of mistakes, regrets, or old wounds. Lay them down now. Let them fall at the feet of Jesus. He does not look at you with disappointment. He looks at you with eyes full of mercy, arms open wide, a heart bursting with compassion, and a voice that still calls you beloved. You have not ruined your purpose. You have not run out of time. You have not failed beyond repair. You are being invited into a story that is bigger than your past, deeper than your pain, and more beautiful than anything you've dared to hope for. This is the goodness of God, reaching you, right where you are, asking only that you say yes to Him. Archangel Michael says, the blessing that draws near is far more than the human mind can understand, for it is not merely made of earthly value but flows directly from the heart of a loving and faithful God, who has seen every silent cry, every broken prayer, every hidden sacrifice, and still calls you worthy of miracles. What is coming is wrapped in mercy, drenched in compassion, and lifted up by promises that have never been forgotten. There have been days when you woke up tired, not just in your body, but deep within your soul. Days when the world felt too loud, too hard, too cold to face, and yet you still rose, still moved forward, still whispered prayers into the quiet, not because you had all the strength, but because you had just enough faith to believe that God had not left you. And that faith, no matter how small it may have felt at times, has reached heaven's gates and moved the heart of your Father. Type 999 if you trust Jesus. The money spoken of in this message is not a bribe from God, nor a test, nor a warning of loss, but a sign of what happens when faith survives the storm. It is a symbol, a token of God's ability to provide beyond human limits, but it is not the treasure. The true treasure is what is happening within you now, the softening of your heart, the lifting of your spirit, the quiet confidence that maybe, just maybe, this is your moment to receive. Do not shrink back. Do not doubt your place in this story. Do not let fear steal the joy that is rising like light over the edge of night. Archangel Michael does not come bearing fear, but assurance, the calm certainty that God is moving, that His angels surround you, and that heaven has prepared something extraordinary for your life, not just to meet your needs, but to show you what it feels like to be loved without limit. What if everything you've been chasing, wealth, freedom, success, could be drawn to you automatically, simply by unlocking a secret brain wave hidden inside you? Once classified by intelligence agencies, this discovery is now available to the public, and it's changing lives instantly. Picture yourself debt-free, stress-free, and thriving. The window is open, but not forever, and every second you wait is wealth slipping from your hands, so grasp it now. Click the link in video description and comments below to awaken this money magnet frequency and watch abundance flow into your life today. Some may laugh at faith. Some may mock the idea that God still speaks, still moves, still sends His angels to carry words of love and hope. But you know the truth deep in your spirit. You felt Him when no one else was around. You've been held by His peace when the world fell apart. You've heard His voice, not always loud, but steady, calling you to keep going, even when you were down to your last bit of hope. The journey hasn't been easy. There have been long nights, and silent prayers, and moments when you questioned everything. But not once did God look away. Not once did He leave your side. And now, with every passing second, you are closer to the unfolding of a promise that was never forgotten, never lost, only waiting for the right time, and that time is beginning now. You are not asked to earn this gift. You are not asked to be flawless, or powerful, or wise in the eyes of the world. You are asked only to open your heart, to trust again, to believe that you were created for more than suffering, more than survival, more than sorrow. You were made to walk in light, to live in love, to breathe in peace, and to shine with the presence of Jesus Christ, who gave everything to make you His. If there's a voice in your mind that tells you this isn't for you, that it must be for someone else, someone better, someone holier, let that voice be silenced now. For it is not the voice of God. His voice calls you beloved. His hands reach for you in kindness. His Spirit surrounds you in comfort. And His will for your life is not struggle without purpose, but grace without end. Type Amen if your faith is strong, and share this video with 7 people of faith to welcome blessings and miracles into your life. Let these words be a turning point. Let this moment be the beginning of something sacred. Not just a blessing that touches your finances, but one that transforms your heart, your family, your future, your very atmosphere. The blessing is not just about what arrives at the end of this message. It is about what awakens within you as you receive it, with faith, with humility, and with arms open wide. You have not missed your moment. You have not fallen too far. You are not beyond the reach of God's goodness. In fact, you are right where you need to be, on holy ground, in a sacred pause, with angels surrounding you and heaven leaning in. Type 2323 if you trust in God. Archangel Michael says, what is unfolding before you is not simply a blessing waiting to be received, but a divine embrace reaching toward you with all the compassion, gentleness, and strength of your Creator, whose love has never faded, not even in your darkest hour. The world may speak of wealth as numbers and status, but heaven speaks of it as healing, restoration, and the soft return of joy to a soul that has long been weary. You have been through moments that no one else fully understands, walking paths where the pain was hidden behind quiet smiles, where your strength was tested in silence, and where your prayers sometimes felt like they were whispered into empty space. Yet through every silent battle, God remained by your side, not as a distant watcher, but as a loving Father, aching with you, breathing hope into your tired heart, and preparing a blessing far greater than you imagined. This moment is not a coincidence. It is not an accident that these words are reaching you now. It is the hand of God, reaching through time, through doubt, through fear, to remind you that He has not changed, and His love for you has not been weakened by your mistakes or shaken by your uncertainty. You are still His child. You are still the one He formed with care and intention, the one He has carried every step of the way, even when you felt like you were walking alone. The money that is spoken of, though real in the eyes of heaven's abundance, is only one thread in a much larger tapestry being woven for your good. What truly matters in this message is what it awakens in your heart, the sense that something sacred is coming near, something born not of man's promises, but of God's eternal faithfulness. This is not about earning. It is not about deserving. It is about receiving what has already been prepared in love. The blessings of God are not always loud or dramatic. Sometimes they come like the soft breaking of dawn, slowly filling the room with light until you realize the night is over. That is what is happening in you now. The night you've known is fading. The fear you've carried is loosening its grip. The heaviness is beginning to lift. Because where God is present, peace follows, and in this moment, He is here, closer than your breath, gentler than your thoughts, stronger than anything that stands against you. Archangel Michael stands not to frighten, not to demand, but to assure you that heaven is serious about you. God is not confused about your future. He is not unsure of how to help you. He is not waiting for you to become someone different before He can move in your life. He is moving now, right here, exactly as you are, because His love is not delayed by your doubts or canceled by your questions. This message is not just a promise of provision, it is a calling back to belief. To remember who you are in Christ. To remember who He has always been to you. To let go of the shame that has followed you like a shadow, and to walk into the light that says, you are loved. You are chosen. You are not forgotten. The power of God's love is not in how much we understand, but in how deeply we let it reach us. So let it reach you now. Let these words settle in your spirit like soft rain after a long drought. Let your soul feel the warmth of heaven's attention, the tenderness of a father who knows every detail of your life and still smiles when he looks at you. This is not the end of your story. It is the chapter where the light breaks through, where the tears are wiped away, where the waiting gives way to wonders. Type 555 to receive miracles. You may have felt like you were forgotten, like the miracle would never come, but God has been working behind the scenes in ways you could not see. The pieces are coming together. The doors are opening. The healing is beginning. And the abundance, both in the spirit and in the physical, is drawing near with every breath you take. You are loved in ways you have yet to fully grasp. You are seen in your quietest, most fragile moments. And you are being led into a season where joy is not temporary, and peace is not something you have to fight to hold on to. It will be your new normal. Not because of anything you've done, but because of everything Jesus has already done for you. What if the fastest path to wealth was already inside your mind, waiting to be activated by a powerful sound wave? Scientists call it the money-attracting frequency, and once awakened, it begins drawing opportunities, success, and financial freedom like never before. Imagine the relief of no more bills and the joy of living your dreams. This is more than an offer, it is a divine turning point. Your destiny is waiting, but only if you choose to move now. Click the link in the video description and comments below to turn on this ancient brain wave today. Archangel Michael says, "The blessing that has been waiting on the other side of your weariness is drawing near, not with thunder or fear, but with the quiet power of God's everlasting kindness, the kind that steps into the middle of your ordinary life and gently transforms it into something extraordinary, not by force, but through love that never fails, never gives up, and never lets go." You have known what it means to wait in silence, to hope when there was no sign, to lift your eyes to the sky even when your heart was too heavy to speak. You have watched others rise while you stood still, you've seen doors close that you prayed would open, and still, somewhere in the fragile center of your soul, you held on to even the smallest thread of faith. That faith has not been ignored. That hope has not been wasted. God has seen it all, and He is responding not just with answers, but with restoration. This blessing, this abundance, this peace, this provision, it is not a transaction. It is a gift. Not because you begged hard enough or suffered long enough, but because God, in His mercy, never stops writing stories of redemption for those who remain close to His heart, even in their weakness. He doesn't wait for perfection before pouring out His goodness. He waits for surrender, for the quiet, trembling yes that rises from a heart tired of pretending and ready to be held. The money is real, yes, but even more real is the healing that will come with it, the lifting of burdens, the relief from constant pressure, the ability to breathe without fear, to wake without dread, to dream without limits. And though the world may see only the surface, heaven sees the purpose. God knows how long you've carried this weight. He knows how deeply you've needed release. And He is not sending this blessing to decorate your life, but to rebuild it, stronger, freer, anchored in His love. Archangel Michael speaks not to alarm, but to awaken the part of you that still believes, the part of you that still knows God is good, even when life hasn't been. This is not punishment for doubt. This is not correction wrapped in fear. This is love reaching for you in its purest form, a message that says, you matter to heaven more than you've ever imagined. The time is sacred. The hour is chosen. And the miracle you thought would never come is now approaching with gentle steps, with grace in its wings, with God's fingerprints on every detail. There is nothing you have done that can cancel what God has planned. There is no failure that disqualifies you from His favor. If you are breathing, you are still in the story. If you are reading this, heaven is not finished with you. Type yes to affirm. Let go now of the old beliefs that told you you're too late, too broken, too far behind. Those were never the voice of God. His voice calls you forward, with tenderness, with strength, with a promise that what's ahead of you carries no shadow of the pain you've endured. It is new. It is light. It is filled with the kind of joy that does not fade when the sun goes down. Do not resist the gift by thinking it's too much. Do not hold back because you've been disappointed before. This is not the same. This is not like yesterday. This is not a recycled hope or a second-hand blessing. This is fresh from heaven, written for you, carrying your name, holding your healing, your restoration, your joy, your peace, and yes, your provision. Let it in. Close your eyes for a moment, and feel the truth settle inside you like a calm you've long forgotten. You are not behind. You are not disqualified. You are not abandoned. You are exactly where you need to be for heaven to move. What God is about to do will not only bless your life but overflow into the lives of those around you. You will be a vessel of His goodness. Not because you asked to be, but because He delights in choosing those who have been overlooked by the world but never by Him. Archangel Michael says, there is a light rising over you that cannot be dimmed, a light born not from the world's approval or man's reward, but from the heart of a God who has always known the deepest parts of your soul and still chooses you, again and again, no matter how many storms you faced or how many times you felt too tired to believe. This is not just another message, it is a moment in eternity reaching into your life with purpose, with mercy, and with the full power of heaven behind it. For so long, you've carried the weight of uncertainty, wondering when things would change, when the struggle would break, when the long nights of worry would finally give way to the peace you've been praying for. Maybe you've grown used to waiting, to surviving, to getting through one day at a time with quiet strength that no one else sees. But God sees. And He hasn't just watched, He's walked every step with you, held every tear you cried in the dark, and written every prayer you whispered into the stillness on the walls of heaven. Now He is moving, not slowly, not distantly, but with the full force of His love. Not because you're perfect, but because you're precious. Not because you've earned it, but because you belong to Him. You may have felt forgotten, but you were never unseen. And what is coming next will prove that nothing you've endured has been for nothing. The blessing that has been promised is more than wealth. It is a restoration of joy. It is a healing of wounds. It is the sound of laughter returning to your heart and the weight of fear being lifted from your shoulders. Yes, God can bless you financially, and He will. But what He truly desires to give you is freedom, freedom from the chains of worry, freedom from the fear of not having enough, and freedom from believing you are alone in your needs. Heaven is rich not only in gold but in mercy. And mercy is flooding your life even now. It is chasing down the lies that told you to settle for less. It is clearing away the old belief that said you were too broken to be restored, and it is replacing every scar with peace that runs deep, wide, and steady. Archangel Michael is not here to warn you out of fear, but to guide you into remembrance, that your God is still the same, yesterday, today, and always. Type 777 if you walk by faith. This is your moment to breathe again. To stop bracing for bad news. To stop living as if nothing good can last. This time, the blessing will stay. This time, the joy will root itself deep in your heart. This time, the miracle will come and it will not slip away. Because this time, you are not just hoping, you are receiving. You are saying yes. You are believing again, and heaven always responds to a heart that is open, even just a little. You are not who you were when this struggle began. You have been shaped in the fire, refined in silence, and made stronger through your tears. And now, the reward for that endurance is coming, not just in what you will hold, but in who you are becoming. You are being made whole, and that wholeness is where the real wealth lives. Not in numbers, but in knowing you are fully loved, fully held, and fully covered by the grace of God. Do not let shame speak louder than grace. Do not let fear write the ending to your story. Do not let the past convince you that you've missed your moment. You are right here, right now, in the center of God's heart, and He is not just sending provision, He is sending peace. He is not just giving money, He is giving meaning. He is not just changing your circumstances, He is changing your atmosphere, your outlook, your entire rhythm of living. Archangel Michael says, what is being poured over your life right now is not just a blessing, it is a divine embrace from the Father, a sacred response to every moment you stayed faithful when life gave you no clear reason to keep believing, when your strength was held together by nothing but whispers of hope and the silent, unseen nearness of God. This isn't a story of luck or coincidence. This is the unfolding of grace, the kind that rewrites your days, restores what you lost, and brings you into the fullness of the life God always intended for you. What if 7 minutes could rewrite your financial future forever? This hidden frequency, backed by neuroscience, flips the brain's natural wealth switch, unleashing unstoppable prosperity. People are calling it the money magnet sound, and it's already transforming lives. But hesitation means missing out while others move ahead. This is your moment to act. Click the link in the video description and comments below to awaken the wealth inside you today before the chance slips away. There is something holy happening in the quiet right now. Heaven is not in a hurry, but it is not standing still either. The things you thought were broken beyond repair are slowly being made new. The dreams you buried in disappointment are being uncovered by the breath of God. He is reviving what you forgot how to hope for. Not because you demanded it, but because He's never stopped loving you. His love is not reactive, it is eternal, and it has always been chasing after your heart. When you hear of financial blessings or promises of provision, the mind can rush to think in terms of numbers, debt, and outcomes. But God sees deeper. He knows the true weight money has carried in your life, the sleepless nights, the silent prayers, the quiet fears you never voiced aloud. He knows how you've tried to be strong for others while worrying in secret. And so when he speaks of blessing, he speaks of freedom, freedom from fear, from lack, from the lie that says you're on your own. This is not a reward for suffering, but a reminder that you were never meant to carry the burden alone. God's heart breaks for the heaviness you've carried. He does not bless to make up for what went wrong, he blesses because that's who he is, a father who gives freely, joyfully, and fully to his children, simply because he delights in seeing them whole and at peace. Archangel Michael stands close, not with fire and thunder, but with calm strength and unshakable peace, sent to protect you, to comfort you, and to help you remember that heaven has always been fighting for you. There are moments in life when we are called to receive instead of striving. This is one of those moments. It is not time to earn. It is time to open. To open your hands, your heart, your faith, and let the love of God settle where fear has lived for too long. Type 333 to welcome blessings. You may have been overlooked by people. You may have been misunderstood, rejected, forgotten, or ignored. But not by God. Not ever. He has watched over every season of your life with gentle hands and eyes full of mercy. Even in the silence. Even when you couldn't feel him. His plans have never been delayed, they have simply been building beneath the surface, growing roots deep enough to support the beauty that is about to bloom. What is coming is not shallow. It is not temporary. It is not a small blessing that fades by morning. What is coming is a shift. A restoration. A healing from within that flows into every corner of your life. This includes your peace, your health, your finances, your relationships, and your ability to walk in joy again without fear of losing it. The money mentioned here is real, yes, but more real is the change in how you live, how you breathe, how you trust again. More real is the moment you wake up and no longer feel afraid. More real is the laughter that returns, not forced, but rising naturally like morning light. That is the kind of blessing God is releasing. That is the kind of miracle you are standing on the edge of right now. So don't let your past define this moment. Don't let the memory of what didn't happen before convince you that God has forgotten you now. He hasn't. He never has. And he never will. His love is still flowing toward you, and this time, there is nothing in the way. Archangel Michael says, "This is the hour where heaven draws near with open arms and pours out what has long been held in sacred waiting, a blessing prepared not just to meet your needs, but to show you the kindness of a God who never stopped writing beauty into your life, even while you walked through seasons that felt empty, broken, or forgotten." The journey here may have been long, but the love that now surrounds you is longer still. It stretches from eternity and wraps around every part of your story. There are parts of you that have grown tired from holding on, and that is something God understands deeply. He has never expected you to be unbreakable. He only asks you to be open, to let him meet you where you are, to receive what only he can give, peace that doesn't depend on circumstances, love that doesn't run dry, and provision that flows not from effort, but from grace. You've carried so much for so long, responsibilities, burdens, expectations, and silent struggles you never let others see. And yet here you are, still believing in something greater, still holding space for hope, even when your heart has been heavy. That quiet faith has not been ignored. That small, steady flame inside of you has never gone unseen. In fact, it is what heaven has cherished most. The money, the miracle, the breakthrough you've heard spoken in this message, it is not a threat, nor is it a demand for fear. It is a promise wrapped in the soft language of heaven, an invitation for you to come closer and remember that God still provides in ways that confound the wise and comfort the weary. This provision will not just cover what was lost. It will bring rest to the places in you that have forgotten what it feels like to be held, secure, and full of peace. God knows how hard you've worked to keep going. He knows the nights you stayed awake, counting costs not just in numbers, but in emotions, in energy, in prayers that felt unanswered. But nothing was wasted. Every seed planted in faith is rising now. Not all at once, but steadily, surely, like spring after the longest winter. This is not a distant promise. This is the beginning of a divine unfolding. Type 1212 if you believe God is guiding you. Archangel Michael stands beside you, not as a figure of pressure, but as a companion in this sacred moment, a messenger carrying the warmth of heaven, the stillness of God's voice, the reassurance that you are not missing anything. You are right where you need to be. You are not being tested. You are being trusted. Trusted to receive, to believe, to rest in the arms of a love that has never given up on you. Even if you've doubted. Even if you've fallen short. Even if you've questioned every word. God still chooses you. He still calls you worthy. He still wants to bless you, not because of your performance, but because of your heart. A heart that still listens. A heart that still reaches. A heart that, despite everything, still hopes. That is a miracle in itself. And now it is being answered. You don't need to prove anything. You don't need to make sense of how it will happen. That is not your burden. Your role now is simple: to receive. To allow the healing to begin. To stop bracing for disappointment and start expecting grace. Not because you're perfect, but because God is. And His love doesn't fail. This is the chapter where peace begins to settle over your home. Where anxiety begins to break apart like shadows touched by light. Where joy returns, not as a visitor, but as a resident. You are not being tricked, or teased, or tested. You are being touched by heaven, in a way that will stay with you. A way that changes everything. Archangel Michael says, the time of waiting has reached its turning point, and now heaven is opening the floodgates, not in chaos, but in calm, steady love that flows straight from the heart of God, who has been watching over you since the beginning, protecting you even in the moments when you didn't feel protected, and covering you with mercy through every chapter of your story. This isn't the end of something difficult, it's the beginning of something deeply beautiful, something that cannot be undone by fear or stolen by the past. You may have spent years giving everything you had and still feeling like it was never enough. You may have stood quietly while others misunderstood your heart, your silence, your struggle. You may have walked through seasons where it felt like no one truly saw you. But God saw. He always has. And now, He is not just responding, He is restoring. This blessing isn't about riches for the sake of having more. It is about the healing that comes when God gives you what the world never could: security, peace, and the undeniable awareness that you are known, chosen, and loved beyond measure. Yes, provision is coming, but with it comes clarity, calm, and the lifting of every weight that has pressed on your soul for far too long. God doesn't bless because we are strong. He blesses because we are His. He chooses to pour out goodness not because of the perfection of our journey, but because of the tenderness of His heart. That is who He is: a provider, a healer, a Father who runs toward you even when you've had nothing left to give. And now, He is running toward you again, arms open, with gifts that carry no sorrow and no condition. Type 888 to open doors of abundance. Archangel Michael does not speak with pressure, but with purpose. The urgency is not punishment, it is love that longs for you to know what's coming and to be ready, not afraid. There is no fear in what God is doing. Only peace. Only light. Only a love that reaches to the deepest places in you and gently says, "You are still my child. And I am not done blessing you." This blessing will be quiet in the way it arrives, but loud in the way it changes your life. There will be moments ahead where you will look around and not understand how everything turned so beautifully in your favor. You will not be able to explain it in human terms, because it won't be because of anything you did, it will be because God decided it was time. Time to bring you into a space of rest. Time to breathe new life into your dreams. Time to restore what was taken. You have no idea how many times God protected you from what you didn't even see coming. You didn't know what He was doing behind the scenes, but you kept showing up, kept hoping, kept trusting. That is what brought you here. That quiet, consistent belief that maybe, just maybe, God still had more for you. And now He's showing you that He does. What's coming will not require striving. It will require surrender. It will ask you to let go of fear and step into peace. It will ask you to stop clinging to what hurt you and start receiving what will heal you. That is the only posture God asks of you now, not strength, not perfection, just openness. He will do the rest. Let this part of the message stay with you like a soft song playing beneath the noise of life. Let it be the reminder you return to when doubt tries to creep in. Let it quiet the voices in your mind that say you're not ready or not worthy. You are ready. And you are deeply, fully worthy, not because of what you've done, but because of who your Father is. So rest now. Let your spirit begin to feel safe again. Let your heart return to trust. Let your hope breathe without fear of being crushed. The promise is alive. The blessing is near. And your story is being held in the same hands that calmed the sea, opened the tomb, and called you by name before you were even born.